Pickup drop-off window. Pickup drop-off test of the relay is performed in this tab. In test point section, the settings related to test points are adjusted. If you wish to perform a pickup drop-off test in a non-directional relay, you need to select current from target type section, and for pickup drop-off test, select angle for angle of a directional relay. At first, current is selected for non-directional tests. In pickup field, the pickup current of the relay is specified. This means that, ideally, the relay must pick up at this current, and here we enter 1 ampere for this field. In reset ratio field, the ratio of drop current to pickup current is specified, which here is set at 0.95. Note that by specifying a value for reset ratio, the software calculates the drop current value and displays it in drop-off field. In angle field, the angle of pickup current is specified, which is not useful for non-directional relays, and depending on the test type, the user can set it at their desired value. Now, since in pickup drop-off tests, the software uses increasing or decreasing ramps, the time interval between increasing and decreasing ramps must be entered in pickup delta t and drop-off delta t respectively. By default, these values are set at 1 millisecond. In delta I field, the values of each step in each time ramp is specified. Here, this value is set at 20 milliampere. Then, in pickup start field, the ramp initial current value in test is specified. Here, this value is set at 800 milliamperes. This means that the ramp begins at 800 milliamperes and increases. Moreover, it is necessary to specify the final values of the ramp current as well. These values are entered in pickup end and drop-off end fields for pickup and drop-off respectively. For example, here the final current values for pickup and drop-off are set at 1.2 ampere and 800 milliamperes respectively. Now, according to the values set in test point section, the software applies an increasing ramp from 800 milliamperes to 1.2 ampere of current with 2 milliamperes ramps and 100 milliseconds time interval, and then receives the pickup signal. Then it applies a decreasing ramp with 20 milliamperes ramp and 100 milliseconds time interval until the relay drops. In fault type section, as mentioned before, it is possible to determine the fault type. Now, by using Add button, this test line is added to the characteristic curve of the relay on OverCurrent characteristic window. Also, the related row is added to the table at the bottom of the pickup drop-off page. In details section, after the test is finished, the real pickup current values of the relay and relay drop-off current value of the relay are displayed in pickup act and drop-off act fields respectively. For each fault type, this test is performed only in one point. Immediately after receiving pickup contact, the ramp starts decreasing from pickup end point. If you wish the ramp to start decreasing from the same point as the relay pickup point, you need to check last state amplitude option. For directional tests, here the settings for a directional relay is in a way that the direction is forward and maximum torque angle and sector opening are set at -60 and 180 degrees respectively. Then open medium detail view. In this window, the operation range of the relay is displayed in green and purple. You can see that this range is set between 30 degrees and -150 degrees. In pickup drop-off data section, the test lines selected from the created test lines are displayed in the table on the left side. In the left sidebar of this window, there are some tools used for diagrams which have been explained previously. Now, angle is selected from target type and states of the ramp created by the software are put on the angle. In this mode, the value of the current and the fault current angle are entered in current and angle fields respectively. Also, the amount of angular changes in each ramp, the amount of start angle value for ramp state, and the final value of this angle are entered in delta phi pickup start and pickup end fields respectively. In drop-off end field, the final angle value for decreasing ramp state is specified. For example, here you should make 2 search lines in border points. The first search line is set with a 1 ampere pickup current and a 30-degree angle. You can see that the fields related to this test line are adjusted at the right side by the software. Note that these values can be specified by the user. Also, in directional plans of medium detail view window, the angular range of the intended test is turned pink. Now, add this test line to pickup drop-off test table. Now, to create the next test line, -150 is entered as the angle value in angle field, and this line is also added to the test line. You can see that by selecting any of the created test lines, its information is displayed in Pickup Drop-Off Data window. Note that in performing this test in Pickup Current, you should perform the test once at the highest limit of the angle and once at the lowest limit of the angle.